Hey, so I'm now back from my trip to Germany where honestly, I ate like a little food gremlin. I was possessed. Seriously, we're talking vegan bratwurst, we're talking Lebkuchen, all kinds of baked goods and sweet treats, those lovely soft pretzels they have there. Beer, even beer, which is really a rarity for me. But here's the thing. I'm actually not beating myself up about this. And in this video, I want to explain to you why and why I'm ultimately not panicked about every now and again having a couple of days that look like this, even if thousands of extra calories were consumed. And how I've actually arrived in a place where one slip up from time to time does not mean spiraling. So if you've been subject to lots of all or nothing thinking around food and weight loss in the past, or a couple of days off plan lead to your total derailment and rebounds and relapses on the scale, this one really is for you. Let me break down how I've got to this place, because it feels awesome. Now, on the other hand, what wasn't awesome though, I must admit, was arriving back here 4 or 5 days ago and feeling a little bit puffy and bloated and frankly quite sluggish. Simply not the leaner, sharper version of myself from a couple of days prior. But ultimately, I knew that puffiness and bloating, the vast majority of it, was simply water retention from the increase in sodium and carbohydrates that I'd been consuming in those days. And that was helpful, knowing that only some of that gain, quote unquote, a small percentage of it rather, was fat gain. And I even at one point, excuse me, the lighting changes too much in here, but I even at one point was like, I'm done with this, I'm sick of this stuff, I'm going and grabbing a salad. And that's when I had that delicious sort of Asian-y salad bowl from Kasper Schmalzer was the place. And that was really good, and that hit the spot. And I had my soup, and I had lots of fruit on this trip, and I was still doing 15 to 20K steps. And for me, seeing that, all right, there's still some good foundational habits here, and when I veer too much, like my initial reaction is, give me some fruit. No, I need a salad bowl. Like, that's really encouraging. And these are little things that old Ryan didn't do. And what's the difference is I've changed my underlying behavior and my mindset around food and my taste preferences through sheer repetition of healthy eating over the years, to where I can do a trip like this and I come back and I genuinely, with every fiber of my being, I genuinely want to get back to my plan. And that feels freaking awesome. And to me, that's what control feels like. And yes, I was a little bit greedy at times. And like I say, there was a bit of a window into old Ryan there, and I was wary of that. But the fact that within 30 minutes of getting back to my apartment, I was leaving again to go to the gym for my first session in 5 days off, that was really encouraging. The fact that 2 hours after that gym session finished, I was back here making a batch of my tofu stir fry, well, that was really encouraging. And then I come back and I get the small wins. And that would be an insight as well. If you have had a bit of a slip up, all right, what are the small wins I can, right, shall I just get the step count up today? Let me go to the grocery store and restock the fridge with some healthy food. What am I gonna make tonight? Can I already plan for maybe tomorrow's lunch? What's something I can whip up right now? Just something really simple. Like, a lot of people get overwhelmed. Oh, I've got to have this big reset. I've got to do a juice fast. I've got to detox. No. Just get back to your normal, sustainable, realistic plan. Obviously, newsflash, I'm not perfect. I have my lapses, and sometimes those lapses surprise me. They're bigger than I think they'll be. And last weekend is actually a case study for that, to be honest. But where I'm different to the little gremlin, he comes out from time to time, the little food gremlin that I was years ago, is that I genuinely don't enjoy how it feels, to veer too far off track. To the extent that, yeah, I can have the vegan bratwurst and this Lebkuchen, and it's mightily nostalgic for me, but my immediate response is, no, run to Kasper Schmalzer and get the nice salad bowl across the street, grab some fruit again. This is the stuff that makes me feel my best self. And that's how I can snap myself out of the slippery slope from happening, because I've truly changed. Everyone talks about balance. Balance. It's the new buzzword, isn't it? But truthfully, I don't think balance is something that most of us can easily switch on cue. I don't think balance is something that we have control over. And that's why I prefer to think about things as seasons. Like, real life happens, and in some moments, it is easier and maybe more appropriate to have a weight loss goal or a maintenance goal than other moments. And you've got to be careful that you don't start rationalizing stuff. Oh, I'm too busy right now, so I shouldn't really prioritize this. You've got to be very careful with that sort of stuff. But I just love this idea of seasons, because when your habits and your taste buds truly evolve, you can actually trust yourself to go off track and then come back on track without the proverbial slippery slope ensuing. And instead of being all defeatist after you inevitably make mistakes, like, oh, why do I even bother? Here I go again. This is what always happens to me. Why do I kid myself in thinking I can actually do this weight loss stuff? Because, one trip or Christmas or one social event and wow, I go flying back up the scale. Instead of being all defeatist like that, it's like, no, I know that, all right, the next couple of days might not be perfect for whether it's a trip like mine or something else for X, Y, Z reasons. But I have changed my behavior and my mindset around food so much that I know I'll miss my healthy routine. That's why I was genuinely excited to get back to my routine. I'd missed it, and to come home and be back in my groove, and having the peace of mind to know, well, I'll feel my best self again in just a couple of days. Like, those small wins are just around the corner. And that is exactly the kind of bounce back ability that I want to help my clients build, right? Not perfection, but some wiggle room, some element of food freedom where their habits are so solid that they can trust themselves to get back on track even when life gets messy. So even when they've had a couple of less than perfect days, they have the genuine underlying behavior change, the confidence, the self-trust that comes with witnessing that behavior change to know that I'll have lapses, but I can always get back to it. So if you're tired of slipping up and starting over and over again, and you want to build something that actually lasts, some kind of real world framework that isn't so strict, so Puritan that you have to prepare every meal at home, but it still allows you some kind of structure and flexibility to get great results, but actually go out into the real world and navigate these situations as well. Well, yeah, if you're interested in all of that, you can learn more about how I coach inside Slim and Sustain at the link down below. Okay, see you in the next video. Back on track and feeling good.